Hello friends. Now you'll remember a couple of weeks ago we had a coffee and a chat and I was talking about this drag car and the fact that I was going to go drag racing with it at Mr D's Slot Drag Racing for the opening meeting of the season, the Paul Blows Cup. And I did, so I thought I'd better report back on what happened. Now forgive me, I've went down there, I set up a few cameras. I'm not very good at that sort of thing, so it's not brilliant footage, but I did take some. I did set up a camera at the finish line, but it only runs at 30 frames a second, and an entire drag race is about a second, so the chances of getting anything other than a blur across the finish line were pretty remote, and the footage proves that. So, lessons learned, but I can't really afford high-speed cameras. We'll have to work something else out. However, here's a little bit of footage. As you can see, we were at the Great Leys Village Hall near Chelmsford in Essex. Nice village hall. Created really quite a friendly social atmosphere. As you can see, everybody sort of sitting around having a chat before the racing. The track goes straight up the middle, through the fire doors and out into the lobby. It's not ideal, but it'll do for now. So until we can find somewhere with a bit wider space, that length, we're going to stick with this. So to explain how it works like a normal drag strip. There are some light sensors in the gantry above the start line, and there are two staging sets of lights, and then there are the yellow lights that come down, controlled by a computer, and then the greens go. As you can see, it's all pretty quick stuff. Now, the Paul Blows Cup is run as bracket racing, which, unlike normal drag racing, which is everybody goes at the same time, first one across the line wins, bracket racing works slightly differently. So you take your car and you do a few practice runs in both lanes, and you check the time that comes up on the computer, and you decide what time you think you'll get this car down the track in. And you give that time to Mr D and he puts it in the computer. Somebody else may have a much slower or a much faster car. They'll have a different time. That gets put in the computer as well. The lights then go down at different rates, so that in theory the greens come on at a different time, and if you make the time you dialed in, both cars should go across the finish line together. Seldom happens, but that's the theory. So, how did I do? Well, you need a really consistent car for that. And at the moment, this is not a consistent car. As a result, I got beat by a 9-year-old. More about this in a minute. Here's my excuses for why I got beaten by a 9-year-old. This car, when I ran it initially, was brand new. The motor was brand new in it, and it ran okay. Even at UK Slotfest, it was running okay, but it seemed a bit tight because it was going across the line, and it wasn't making it all the way to the end of the strip and into the catch bag like some of the faster guys were. So I figured this car probably, the motor needed a bit of a break in. So I stuck it on this track and I put some voltage through it and I held the back wheels up. And I ran it in and I broke the motor in for a bit, and it did seem to be a bit more pokey, and it does seem to sort of freewheel and overrun a bit more, like the motor is loosened up. And I thought I'd done enough. It turns out I think I probably only really half broke it in, because yes, it was going further, it was reaching the end of the strip in the catch bag, but it was not consistent. So it would run a 1.01 and then it would run a 0.95. Yeah, it's still not quite there yet, this car. So had I left it alone and it had just left it tight, it would have probably done consistent, slower runs. Mistake. But now I shall run this motor in a bit more and free it up a bit more. And the next time I go to Mr D's and we just do fastest person wins, we could be doing pretty well with this, because this car did run into the 0.8s, which is impressive. So we should probably take a look at me getting beaten by 9-year-old Eli. So here is the first race. There is my assassin, Eli. Now the first race, because I'd run varying times, I dialed in a 0.96 time to try and achieve. And here we go. Now you can see Eli, he left the line pretty well. And I think I left the line slightly better. Now the car really hooked up, which was great, except that the combination of that and the really good start meant I broke out, because I ran a 0.92 second pass, which is faster than the 0.96. You go faster than your dial-in time, you lose. So this means even though I was fastest, I lost. So in the second race, you swap lanes, because that's fair. And if after both of these races it's one each, then it's a best of 3. We didn't need it. So I dropped my dial-in time down to 0.93, having just run a 0.92, thinking, well, you know, maybe I got a bit lucky with how quick that ran. And I went for it. Now, as you can see, both of us left the line pretty much bang on the light. And then my car just didn't hook up. It ran way slower than my dial-in time, and Eli beat me fair and square. Well done, Eli. I should point out that Eli did then go on to beat Mr. D himself and knock him out as well. So I had a lot of fun. I learned quite a lot about my car. I learned quite a lot about what I'm doing wrong when I video things. And hopefully the next time I do something like that, it will be a bit better on both counts. What I did manage to do was video at least the start and the scoring system for the final 3 runs for the Paul Blows Cup. So here they are. Here we are, race 1 of 3 of the grand final of the 2024 Paul Blows Cup. Andy Sartorius in the right lane, Fed in the left lane. They both put in a dial-in time of exactly 1 second. And Andy really got the drop there. And if we go round and we check the timing screen, as you can see, Fed 1.002, Andy 1.001. So Andy wins. And look at his reaction time as well, 0.52 seconds. Even 0.73 for Fed was very good indeed. Go on to race 2. Swap lanes this time. Andy Sartorius left lane, Fed in the right lane. And again, Andy got the drop. Fed took that one with an incredible reaction time. So on to the final race, sudden death elimination. Andy Sartorius left lane, Fed in the right lane. So there we go. I think Fed got the drop, but unfortunately Andy didn't finish. But we will just wait for the computer to finish doing the number crunching and confirm the result. Yes, Fed wins 2 races to 1 with an incredible reaction time once again. So there we are. That's the result then. The winner of the 2024 Paul Blows Cup is Fed, George Cubitt. Andy Sartorius was second and the ever-present Sean Eilert was third. And I'm pleased to say the event raised £120 for the Mid and South Essex Hospitals charity, a charity nominated by the Blows family. And I'm just going to leave you now with all of the launches from the first elimination round. Takes about a minute, but it's worth a watch. Good chat.